Get that, Andy. Apple Valley, City of the Year. Do you know where that is?
The other question I have is they don't even produce apples anymore. So what's the deal? She just
There's
named
no apple
Apple
trees in
Valley.
Apple Valley, but Apple Valley, southern suburb, a little east. A lot of people know probably about the Apple Valley Zoo. They've probably been there quite a bit, but I know the Real Estate Journal does it more based on commercial because there's not a lot of developing happening in Apple Valley because all the land, at least in that school district, is taken up. Kind of more of like they're redoing stuff, creating bigger and better opportunities, but that in turn really does help the resale residential market. I listed and sold one there. I've got 3 other ones that I'm working on in Apple Valley to go onto the market. And that is something like that article that I would say, hey, this is what Apple Valley was. That was part of that city. I mean, a lot of their schools, it's going down. They're starting to team up with Burnsville to be able to put their sports together. I know their hockey team, their boys hockey team, it's Apple Valley and Burnsville together. Burnsville, not that long ago, was a state champ, and Apple Valley was huge in wrestling and basketball. That's where the Jones brothers went. And then all of a sudden, it's just kind of gone down. So hopefully that gives it a little boost. And it's also an area where people are starting to remodel and fix up things because the location is so great.
And I cut through there, sometimes going to Farmington. On the far east side of Apple Valley, there's still all those gravel pits. I don't know if that's Lakeville or Rosemount. I think there's kind of there's a lot of opportunity out there still for growth, it looks like. And they did some really cool communities from a residential perspective. Back in the day, they did some really architecturally influenced housing developments. And I don't remember the names. I don't know if you do, Chris, or not. Like
Cobblestone, Spirit of Branching.
Right. So they're heavily themed, really nice developments. And I think that it makes a better community in the long run, having neighborhoods with character. And then with character comes pride, and pride, people keep their properties nicer. And
I think that's what Apple Valley is doing from a commercial standpoint. Those other developments are Rosemount and Lakeville, but they're all intertwined. They're super, super close. Apple Valley's got 42 going right down the middle of it. And then Cedar Avenue is kind of crosses it. So good destination, or a way that all these people like you had to go to Farmington, you have to go through Apple Valley to get to those other areas. And so if they're creating this commercial fun zone, it definitely will help the communities around it as well.
Congratulations, Apple Valley. Way to go.
I haven't seen Champlin on that list.
I haven't either.
Okay. It's right where Prior Lake is. I think they're real close to each other.
Yeah. When you don't do anything for years in a row, except for pave your streets, I think you're not stretching your growth limits. Strike that, Chris. We did just open up the river project here in Champlin, where they bought and redeveloped. Now, part of me wants to criticize that they spent, I don't remember what it was, $26 million buying all these old apartment buildings to level them and then sell them to new apartment building companies for pennies on the dollar. So in essence, you'd say we wasted tax dollars, but that's not the point. It looks beautiful. So these beautiful new apartments were rebuilt because I think the bigger plan wasn't happening. So they decided they had to sell some of it back. But now they have this nice community center that's down by the river. They have apparently a restaurant that's eventually going to be built down there. It's been talked about for about 15 years. It still hasn't broke ground, I don't think, yet. But they redid that area. So when you come into Champlin, you're heading up to Anoka. It's really pretty. And the idea there was to put Champlin on the map and have people notice, what a nice town it is, connect the city of Champlin with the river. And they opened up right where I live, kind of off of Hayden Lake Road there. They also opened that up to a pond that's a tributary to the river. So it looks like there's a lot of water up there now, and it's nice.
Champlin is really nice. That area that you're talking about, it's beautiful. When you go down kind of by that river, and I think sometimes what those cities will do is that if they're trying to create something, sometimes they have to get it to a point that it's going to get developers excited in which to do
it. That's exactly right. And so, when you have something like that you want to create, I think a lot of times, you get communities like Champlin that were designed to have stoplights so that people would stop and see the commerce and then support the commerce as they're on their way north. That was like the original kind of idea there. But, there's a long history that goes back with Champlin. There was back when they were looking at Anoka as being one of the state capitals because of the